we are delusional. We believe we are going to get any and everything that we want.
As we've gotten older, as we become adults, our desires have become grander.
Mm-hmm.
They're really more like projects or lifetime goals.
There's a difference between what I feel I currently have and everything that I desire.
Beyond the gap is the fact that you don't actually want that thing. It just seems cool because you saw it on the internet. Check your screen time. Check it. Don't look at mine, but check yours.
I don't know. Would we schedule our time to go out to eat?
No.
I don't think so.
This is Sistas Declassified, the podcast where
Taylor
and Taryn,
your virtual sisters, share experiences, insights, and of course the juicy secrets that never leave the sister circle.
So shh, listen up. The Declassified convos are starting now.
Welcome back to Sistas Declassified.
We're the real life sisters who decided to start a podcast instead of going to brunch.
So please, before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. And if you want to find us on socials, we're on TikTok and Instagram at Sistas Declassified.
It's the best way to get your weekly dose of declassified moments outside of these episodes, of course.
Yay. So I guess if you saw last week's episode, we kind of dabbled a little bit into talking about my issues with overconsumption of information all at once, meaning I have my YouTube videos going on my TV, casting from my phone, while I scroll on TikTok or Instagram or read my book. It varies, but they're almost always simultaneous, or I'll have like Netflix on and then I'm on my phone. And I can't be the only person who does this, but I feel like while I'm doing this, sometimes I struggle with having an issue where like, I don't want to say. Basically, I see things that I want, and I also obviously have goals for myself in life already, and I see people, I've curated my algorithm to look like all the things that I want to do in my life. So like, there's people on farms, and there's people in the garden, and there's people, I don't know, making holistic products in their house, or whatever the case may be. Maybe some people are flued out on a trip. So all those things are on my timeline, right? I've curated to look at it. But I think it's created this concept, which I saw someone say, debate therapist. But basically, my declassified moment for this week is that there's a difference between what I feel I currently have and everything that I desire. And I need to put more effort into gaining the life that I desire instead of living in this like reality gap of like, I can see everybody living the life I want, and I could be putting the effort into creating that life, but I rather just like doom scroll.
You know, I think as you were talking, I was processing, and I think I want to like challenge your declassified moment just a little bit.
Okay, go for it.
Because I also have a problem with doom scrolling, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll see people doing things that look cool. It gets likes. It seems like it's enjoyable. They seem fulfilled. But I know I absolutely do not want to do that thing. I have no desire to do it. Mm-hmm. However, there's still this like split second. There's this moment of, I guess it's envy. Mm-hmm. Or like a desire to have what they have. Even though I know I don't want to do any of the work that it takes to get there. I don't actually care about the thing that they're doing. Mm-hmm. And what it would take in order for me to get that, I wouldn't want my life to be that anyway. I just want that outcome. And I've had to like challenge myself to think about, do I actually want that thing that I just scrolled past? Or do I want what I'm like perceiving their outcome to be, you know? And so I guess I'm asking you, do you feel like your reality gap has more to do with things you think you want and you're just like not putting in the work to get to the thing and you need to make a plan? Mm-hmm. Or like beyond the gap is the fact that you don't actually want that thing. It just seems cool because you saw it on the internet.
I think a little bit both. Because I think it's true that I do want those things, but I want those things without work, right? And So obviously that's not realistic, and I know that. So I have to then make a plan to get those things and be okay with that. It's going to be effortful. Like, I think you're right. The quick 30-second clips don't ever depict the amount of effort that someone takes to get anything. And so it does glorify it a lot and make it seem like it's super easy when it's not. But I will say, I think ultimately my way of life that I'm striving for, well, aside from like the garden, because I know that that's going to be a lot of effort, but like in terms of like holistic products or like making things for myself, it just is a lot of effort on the front end of like knowing what recipes you need if you're making like cleaning products or something, or like if you're making toothpaste, or I don't know, random things. And knowing what those steps are and having a system. Do I already have a container for this? What can I put it in? So those are all the kind of things that I haven't done yet, which is why then I haven't made the thing. Because like, do you have something to put these things in? Do you have like a way to store it? Like, do you know how long you can store it? Like, just all those little questions. So then I have to decide, okay, what thing do I want to make first? Kind of. Yeah. And it's really not that complicated. I just have to do it.
No, that makes sense. And I do think it is complicated in that as we've gotten older, as we become adults, our desires have become grander. They're really more like projects or lifetime goals. Right. Whereas like we used to have a lot more short-term goals that were honestly guided by adults in our lives. And they were just simpler. Right. It was like, get an A on this test, study the vocabulary words, right? Read the book.
The like rubric is very clear.
It was like super, super clear, and something that I relate to you in that like it is as simple as just like pick the thing and do. Because then you'll find out if you like it. Then you'll find out if it's possible. Then you'll unlock.
If it's sustainable. If it's something you'll really want to do once a month. Because ultimately, if I'm trying to have products, I'm gonna have to do that
once a month,
or even weekly, or depending on what it is.
And so I say that to say, like, I don't want us to sell our project short because I have this problem of thinking, like, okay, it's going to be really simple. Then I get to thinking about all the steps it takes, and now I've talked myself out of it because there are 30,000 things to do. When really, I could do 4 of those things, and now I'm 4 steps closer and could think about it that way. But then we also think about scaling it and how often we're going to do it, and it turns into this, like, big thinking Olympics. Right. And then it's like, do I even really want that still?
Right, but ultimately I always come back to yes, I do. So that means I need to put some action behind it. And that goes into my little self-care calendar I always make. So I like try to add things on there that self-care also can include like working towards your desires. Because I think sometimes you can use like accomplishing something as a form of self-care if that thing is for you. Like if that thing is gonna fill your cup, like we talked about in the last episode. It doesn't always have to be this idea that self-care is like a face mask or like a massage. It can be a lot of different things. It can mean different things for different people.
Very true. For me, one thing my therapist and I identified is laundry.
That's your self-care.
And it sounds silly, and it also is like a chore, so it's a thing that has to be done. But it has a very, very clear instructions, very clear beginning, middle, end, and when it's done, you feel like, wow,
I did it.
Clap, pat yourself on the back.
Right.
And for me, my self-care is finding more activities that feel like laundry.
Yeah.
Which sounds awful to some people because they're like, bitch, you're just doing chores. But it works.
It's all things that have to get done, and you can feel a form of gratification after you did it.
But then when I see that other people are paying for laundry services and they're getting their laundry shipped out and folded and brought back to them, I'm like, I want that. But do I want that? Kind of not really. I don't actually like the idea of someone taking all my laundry, maybe specific laundry. I don't know. Right. But then, you scroll and you see that so-and-so gets laundry service every week and you're like, my little self-care win is nothing.
That's the reality gap. Do you desire that?
Do I desire laundry service? In a very specific way. In like someone who works in the home does your laundry in your home kind of way. Not in a like send my laundry out.
Be gone for a couple days. Well, they probably do it in a day.
They do it in like a day or so, I assume.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I can't afford that. I actually never looked into see how much any of that would cost. But in my mind, it sounds impossible.
I mean, you probably could afford it, but maybe would you have to pivot and do something else?
Right. And I think that's another thing in this conversation is like, as I would say in adulthood, especially if you're an independent working adult, almost anything is possible. It's just around prioritization. Mm-hmm. And I struggle with this, with being like passionate about multiple things and also wanting to make the right decision, quote unquote. That like, how do I choose which path is the right path to be successful or to be productive or to be happy or whatever. Mm-hmm. Everything I say comes back to this. I got issues. But I think it circles back to like, well, what do you want the most and how do you prioritize that thing over everything if that's what you say you want? Because that's actually what it takes, not just the 30-second clip you saw online.
Right.
Yeah, so I think the second half of the awareness of the reality gap and like knowing where you are versus what you desire is also the acceptance that's required to move forward. Because I think it's very easy to sit and doom scroll and think about the things you don't have with each post, right? And every post might be different and it's bringing up a different desire in your life. Like maybe you want to have a family and so you see a post with a family and that makes you feel some type of way. Maybe it's happy, it's a cute video, but then you also feel a little sad. You swipe again, you see somebody doing DIY furniture and now you're thinking about how your house is not up to par with the Joneses or whatever. It's
or
like
you never finished getting a TV stand. That's a hint. That's a poke at myself.
Yeah, I think about how like our apartment is more bare than I would like it to be, but neither my husband nor I really are into decorating, and unless we pay someone to come decorate our apartment, it's not gonna happen.
Or maybe not in a fast timeline.
Maybe, or I have to be realistic and accept the timeline that it can happen in.
Right.
Because I need to choose to prioritize it, even if that means once a month I'm going to go thrifting for this piece, or maybe back up, make a list of the things I think I want to decorate. Mm-hmm. And then once a month I go look for things to check off the list.
Right.
But until I do that, I best not complain about not having a decorated apartment.
Right. Because if that's not a priority and you haven't prioritized it, then it is what it is.
Then it's like time to move on. Mm-hmm. And I think the other thing with acceptance is like recognizing that no one's gonna come do it for you. Right. Right. Because I think it's really easy to like get in a victim mentality and wait for someone to come save you. Mm-hmm.
I think also having like your goals and what you want be visual for you, because I think for me it's made a difference in the last, or I always will like make a vision board or something that is going to help me remember what do I actually want, so that I don't, when I am scrolling, I don't get off track. And I can look back at like, okay, this is actually what I wanted for myself. Am I working in these spaces? Okay, cool. So I don't then feel bad about what my reality currently is. And I also can reflect back on, okay, what is my plan for getting what I desire? Mm-hmm. So that I can still be present in the moment and stop fixating on what I could or couldn't have or what is going to happen in the future.
Yeah, so I guess it's like 3 parts. Mm-hmm. Awareness, prioritization, and acceptance. Mm-hmm. And then maybe a 4th is gratitude. And that's a part of the acceptance a little bit. But like, I think I talked about like more money for the laundry service or whatever. I don't know how much it costs. I haven't looked in to see if I could afford it. But if it was something I truly needed, I think I could do it. Mm-hmm. And that is a blessing.
Right. Definitely. And being grateful for that.
Mm-hmm. 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 I even think being grateful for the ability to have desires. Mm-hmm. Some people are so entrenched in survival that hopes and dreams are not even on the table.
Right. Or belief. We are delusional. We believe we are going to get any and everything that we want. And we will. There's that delusion. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't necessarily have that. They like the scarcity mindset, or thinking that this is all we're going to get. So when we scroll, it's like, I'm not going to get that thing. I'll never have that thing. Instead, we're like, yep, next year, I'm about to have a farm. I don't have any money for my farm, but I'm going to be on it.
Ooh, and then that next year roll around and you see that same post with somebody on the farm and you're not on your farm.
It's cool because you know what? Next year, I'm going to have my farm. And basically, that is the reality gap that I live in. But you know what's going to be different next year? Because we're putting actionable steps behind the desires these days. And also, and like you're saying, remembering and grounding ourselves in the fact that just because you saw it, liked it, doesn't mean you actually want it. Doesn't mean that you want to do all the things that are needed to get to that final result. And if you're not, then you accept it. It's fine.
Yeah, I think there are so many... I think we watch so many people's lives. We talked about this, I think, in the last episode a little bit, about, like, watching vloggers do average things that we actually want to be doing in our lives or could be doing for ourselves, but we're watching them instead. I think we're
like having parallel play, because you sometimes might even be like watching them do the thing you're doing, because sometimes people will play a cleaning vlog and be cleaning their house.
Yeah, I'll be like doing planning while listening to someone's like monthly plan with me video or something like that. So my ears will perk up every now and then if they like mention an app or something I think interesting or whatever, but we're both just planning together, which is weird.
Just like, do we really think about this? Like, how much, we're just, instead of, like, living actually with the people around you, you're, like, making relationships and living with the people virtually.
But, like, are we even making relationships? Or are we just having one-way parasocial hangouts?
I mean,
it depends on how large the audience is, but... Yeah.
And how invested you are while you're engaged in it.
Some people be real invested in the people they follow, and that I will not understand. Yeah, Taylor's got
I'm not like super real. No, because I'm a silent viewer.
She's not crazy,
but I just have watched these people for a long time, and like if they like maybe come out with a product, I might support because I've watched them for a long time. But I'm not like liking all their things or like I love you guys so much, commenting on all their information. Right. But do I know what their favorite color is? Maybe.
I feel that. There are people who I will, I guess, a silent follower. I will like the things. Occasionally I'll comment if they like prompt for a certain comment, if they're looking for a specific engagement, or if they have a poll or something. I'll give my opinion.
One family I followed, they were doing like a Christmas thing every year, like competition with their neighbors, and I saw it really cool, and I was like, they gotta do this. And I like just sent it, and they did respond to it too. So that I was like, yeah,
they know me.
But otherwise, I'm like, I don't really. No.
Do you
have to really feel really like strongly about what I'm about to say in order to do something, and I'm not gonna just give my opinion on their life.
There are definitely times where I'll see strangers post and I'll type something, and they'll be like, I don't actually think anyone needs to know that I think this.
Right.
Even though it's not necessarily something negative, because it's honestly usually something like I'm like sharing something about myself, or like it's a relatable post. So you like, my husband does that too, or my dog also, whatever.
Right.
But I don't know. I feel like everybody doesn't need to comment, which is weird because as a content creator, I want people to comment.
Right.
So I struggle with wanting to give the engagement I wish to receive.
And there's a comment section for a reason. Like, they want you to comment. But I don't comment either, so.
I don't know. We got here, though, because we were just talking about how much we absorb people's lives. And I think there are a lot of things. I think there's benefits to seeing how other people live in a general sense. But there's also a very clear downside to spending time consuming other people's lives and not living your own.
Well, and it creates that reality gap. It makes it why it's so challenging to get what you desire, or partly why it's so hard, because you're wasting your time.
Yes, check your screen time. Check it. Don't look at mine, but check yours.
That part. I'm working on it.
Don't look at my screen time, but check yours.
We should really look into what do they say is a healthy level of screen time per day. Do you know? I need to know that. I should know.
It can't be more than 2 or 3 hours a day. And that's all the screens. Right. Not just an hour on your phone, 3 hours of television, a few on your iPad, time at your laptop working. No. The statistics for kids and TV, it varies by age, but I do recall it being no more than like 4 hours and then like X hours at a time. Right. It's also like 4 hours in the day.
So it's like
and
30
no more than 30
here,
yeah
30 minutes there.
And no more than an hour at a time for kids like middle school aged is what is recommended.
Gotcha. Wow.
Which everybody is clearly over.
Maybe not everybody. I don't have no children.
I was gonna say maybe not everybody,
but I don't know. I know that you're probably right that most kids are over that, but most people are over that, and we'll work on that. But anyway, I think what we're trying to say and what we're trying to lift up, or what I was in my declassified moment, is just that I struggle with a few reality gaps in different areas of my life, but my whole purpose right now is to bridge that gap and start to put some more effort into what I desire, and also recognizing that just because I like something in that moment doesn't mean that I need it. And we want to start posing that question to you guys. For our sister circle this week, we want you to share with us what you think your reality gap is, and whether it's something that you need to put a little more effort into, or is it something that you just need to accept,
and let go. Let go. You do not want that, because if you did, you would have done it.
Mm-hmm. Dang.
No, so.
Right. And on that note, we'll see you next time. Please like, comment, and subscribe like we said before, and you can find us at Sistas Declassified on all platforms. See you next time.
Bye.